Hi.
Hello.
It's so good to see you.
Very nice to see you.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over the format for today. Then I'll read your bio, and then I'll mute and we'll let you get started. Is that okay?
Wonderful.
All right. So the formats for these talks are, and they're flexible. We can do whatever you want, but you talk for 45 minutes. We can do Q&A for 15. Everyone who's watching has a little Q&A button at the bottom. You can ask questions whenever you want. I will see them, and then during the Q&A session, I can read them aloud to you to make it easy for you. I will go ahead and read your bio. And I just want to say before I get started that Liberation Unleashed was so helpful for me, and so I'm very grateful, and I'm super excited that you're on my stage today. So thank you so much.
That's so wonderful to hear. Thank you.
So, and can you pronounce your last name for me real fast so I'm saying it correctly?
CIUNAITE.
CIUNAITE, okay.
It's like tsunami tonight. CIUNAITE.
CIUNAITE, okay, perfect. ILONA CIUNAITE was born in Lithuania, always interested in the mind and how it works. She has a degree in psychology and a mindset to focus on freedom. ILONA's search for truth started in 2002, when for the first time she experienced silence of the thinking mind, peace that felt like home. The search ended 8 years later with the question, is there ILONA running the show? The separate self was seen to be an illusion. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to mute. You will be able to see me, but everyone can see you as long as I mute, and I'll let you take it from here. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me here. I am so happy to talk about Liberation Unleashed. It's been 9 years just a couple of days ago. So it's still going, still strong, and it's amazing what is happening there. At the moment, there are over 7,000 members on this Liberation Unleashed forum. There are over 2,300 completed conversations that ended up in seeing through the illusion of a separate self. And today I would like to talk about how it works, why it works, and what is actually happening in these threads, and how that can help you, firstly, to see through the illusion of a separate self, and secondly, how can you help somebody else? This is something that works in practice, and you can try that with your friends and with your family, as long as they are open to look. And I would like to start saying how much I appreciate every guide on Liberation Unleashed. See, people come and have their thread and they talk to one person over a period of time. Sometimes it's just a few days, sometimes it's a few years. And it all depends on where they come from, what kind of beliefs they bring, what kind of traumas they bring. And it takes time, sometimes longer, to look through all different angles so that this separate self is seen to be an illusion. And once that happens, you can feel in a thread that something changes. There is a different tone, there is freshness, there is description of an experience that wasn't noticed before. And this is the beauty, and this is why we are doing that, because it's such a gift to receive. Some stranger on the internet is helping you to see through this grand illusion, which is painting this life in colors of separation, colors that I am here as a separate being, rather than seeing that we are all interconnected, we are all interbeing, and we are here to support each other, not to compete or not, climb above. We are here equally perfect and equally needed to be in this life. So my sincere thanks for every guide, for every administration person who are helping in any way to keep this going, because it is incredible experience. It is incredible to see that there are people out there that don't want anything from you. They are just there to support you on your journey, so you can get free. You can get freedom, inner freedom, which is reachable, and it's doable, and it's amazing, right? So I would like to say, what is the difference between teaching and guiding? Teaching would be saying how it is, making sure people understand. Guiding is saying, look there, look there. What do you see? Can you describe what you see? Can you describe what is true in your experience? So this is the difference. We ask questions. We don't say, okay, this is how it is. We say, how do you see it? What is true to you? And that's how the journey begins. See, when we are seeking to find out the truth of what we are, we may come across a lot of books, a lot of teachers, a lot of opinions, a lot of descriptions. And in the end, it gets so confusing because we can't recognize what the teacher is saying in their experience, in our experience. And they're trying to understand. But in Liberation Unleashed, we are asking to look. And what is this looking? Precisely. It's literally seeing what is here, right this moment, right here, right now. And a short example would be this. Let's say, what is the weather right now? And you can think about it. You can, look up on the internet. You can ask your friend, what is the weather like right now? Or you can simply look outside, see and describe what you see. And that requires no prior knowledge. That requires no understanding. You just look and see. It's as simple as that. So this is the main thing, what we're doing in Liberation Unleashed. We ask our so-called clients to look in their own experience. This is the bottom line of what is going on. Okay, now you can say, all right, so I have my own experience, and what do I need to see? What am I looking for? And here is the answer. You're not looking for anything. Looking for is like this. I have an image, what this should look like. So now I'm looking here, I'm trying to find what is there that corresponds to my image, what it should look like. So these are all the expectations that we build up for years, trying to understand this, trying to get enlightened, trying to get awakened. And we can read many books and think, aha, it's like this. Or maybe it's like that. And then you read something else and then, but that guy is saying something different. And so the search is really just getting confused in the head and trying to figure it out what is true. But looking is in my own experience. And that is the biggest difference. Because we are not trying to understand. There is nothing to understand. There's something to see. So when you start looking at what is here without expectation, what this should look like, that's when you're starting to see and you can describe it in your own words. And this is important. Let's say you have 10 painters on a field, there is a lake, there is a mountain, and they all have their own preferred medium, and they paint the same lake and the same mountain. And you can look at all these 10 paintings and see, that's the same mountain, but the expression is unique. It's so different, like it's hardly recognizable, but yeah, I can see that it's the same mountain. So the idea of guiding is actually, you are starting to paint your own picture. And it doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how it looks compared to others, to other descriptions. It's the only thing that is important. And for that, writing down what you feel, what you see as truth is the most important thing. It kind of is asking the mind to focus and to put everything in words, and the words are so limited. But when you focus, when you write it down, you can see what your feeling is inside. So having a guide is so nice, because you are writing something and you're sending to somebody, and they look at what you write, they hear what you're saying, they see your confusion, and they come back to you with a question that you would never think to ask otherwise. So you get a new question and you start to untangle your own confusion. You're starting to see what is true in your own experience. And that's how it works. Okay, I can share from my experience that once I saw through this illusion of a separate self, that there is no ILONA running the show, I was so excited. I wanted to share with everybody. And besides making noise on internet, on Facebook, I went to my parents. I sat them down and I said, look, there is this thing. There is no separate self. Life is happening by itself. I'm not making it happen. And for 3 days, I was trying to convince them or show them, but it did not work. I got so disappointed. And I also got my lesson. You cannot make somebody see unless they are ready. So readiness, being ripe, wanting the truth, no matter what, is really needed. That's like saying, okay, enough. I had enough of this confusion, of this illusion. I had enough of not knowing what I am. Now I am ready. I am so ready that it doesn't matter what I have to lose, what lies I believe. I want to see through it all. I want to know. I really do. This is required because without that readiness, people are not open to hear, are not open to investigate or challenge their beliefs. And when they are ready, when I am ready, when you are ready, seeing happens. So how to be ready? What does that mean? It means to leave all your expectations on a side, or even better, to look at them and see through them, that they are not the truth. That's not what it's like. The mind cannot know what is beyond the mind. Mind is limited. And everything I learned from others can be put on aside for the time being. I can come back to that. But here now, I need to see what is true. And everyone has expectations. I never met anyone without any expectations on Liberation Unleashed Forum. And expectations can be like wanting to become a better person, wanting to become wise, wanting to become enlightened, having peace, no matter what, in every situation, and wanting to have a better relationships and all kinds of stuff like that. But everything has to be put on hold, because wanting something is already creating an image how this should look like. But what awakening, or what this truth recognition looks like, is not what the mind thinks. It is impossible to think your way out of it, out of the illusion. It is impossible to use logic, because it's all in the mind. And looking is beyond the mind. Looking is actually what is here right now. And if you look now, what you see is colors, sounds, sensations, thoughts coming, these words coming, landing somewhere. So this is the reality, the actuality of what is happening. And what is expectation is something made up by the mind as an image. And in that image, there is me that is getting a benefit. But seeing through the illusion of a separate self is seeing that there is no me. There never was. There is no person that can get any benefit. It's just seeing things as they are without expecting them to be in a particular way. So once the expectations are dealt with, often we can meet fear. Fear is another big block, big obstruction in this journey. And how to deal with the fear? Well, firstly, it needs to be recognized. Sometimes it's hidden. Sometimes it's so hidden that you don't even know the fear is there. But when you're starting to get closer to the realization, it comes up. It may feel like a fear of not being, fear of not existing, fear of losing control or going insane. There are many fears, and the quicker you recognize your fears, the better it is. Because when you are questioning the most precious belief, the core belief of this entity that supposedly is me, there may be a sense of dying, that something is going to cease to exist. And then you can look behind the fear and see what is there that needs this protection, what is there that is hiding. And I learned this from Pamela Wilson. She says, look behind. And somehow magically this looking happens. And if you see that there is nothing there, there is nothing to be afraid of, there is nothing there that needs to be protected from life itself, it's only life happening, then that fear can rest. And there is an opening. There is an opening to look. Okay. Another obstacle can be, that shows up very often, is resistance. And what is resistance? Is the fighting with the life, fighting with what is. It's saying, this is not good enough. Oh, I don't like that. Give me something better. I don't like this feeling. I don't want to feel sad. Get rid of it. So this is another mechanism that is protecting. It's a protection that is saying, okay, look, there is something there that needs this protection. And that way you can use this resistance to show you things that haven't been looked at. And there are people that feel resistance to life every day, every year, non-stop. Like everything is not good enough. Maybe somewhere in the future, something will change, and they feel that they have to do something or to deserve to be happy. So this resistance is really saying that what I have, what I am, is not enough. Give me something better. So what we do with resistance, we meet it by recognizing it. It's okay for it to be here. It's okay to be a guide and show us places that haven't been looked at. So that resistance can be allowed and you can see that it is useful. It is useful because it shows many hidden things, many hidden resistances that are still painful. So making friends with fear and with the resistance and with everything that comes up is really helpful because it's here for a reason. It's not here to punish us. It's not here to hurt us. It's here to guide, to help, to undo all the conditioning that is already old and it's no longer needed. Perhaps the fear was guarding some wounds that are ready to heal. So it's okay to go inside and look what is there and really be respectful to all these ancient mechanisms that are showing up in this system. So resistance is fighting what is. But how about allowing resistance to be here as well? Don't need to fight it. It can be allowed. And when the resistance is allowed, it can be fine, it can be okay. And so little by little, all the tension can get undone. And when the tension gets undone, it's easier to allow what is here to just be as it is. Another point in guiding is recognizing or asking our clients to recognize what is real and what is unreal. And by real, I mean that which is here, which is always here. And that which does not disappear if you stop imagining it. So there are many exercises that the guides use, and let's try one right here, right now. You can use it for yourself or with a friend. And it's as simple as this. If you imagine that you are holding a melon, just close your eyes for a bit, and you can see that melon in your imagination, and you can observe it and see what kind of sensations you feel when that is happening. Like, what kind of melon is that? Just see what image comes up. Can you feel the weight, size? How heavy is it? What is the texture? Can you sense the smell? How about taste? Can you feel the taste of the melon? So we can just hold that image for a little bit and see what kind of information you get about this melon. And if I ask you to get rid of the melon, what do you do? Well, it's simple as this. You open your eyes and there never was a melon. There is nothing to get rid of. It was pure imagination. And still you could feel some sensations, some people more vividly than others, but still you can feel something there. When you're imagining, the image that comes up, it's here, and the feeling is here, but the melon is imagined. So there is nothing to do to get rid of it. There is no way to get rid of it. You just see it, that it was never real. And if I ask you now to close your eyes and see you, what do you see? What is here? What image shows up? Do you see a body? Do you see a person? Do you see yourself like a third perspective or from the first perspective? What is the actual image that comes up? Can you check, is that image you? Or are you seeing it? And is that image in charge of life? Is it the manager of life? Or is it something that comes up upon request? When they said, okay, imagine what is you. Imagine, and here you go, you can imagine. But that image is not you. So what would you do to see through this illusion? Is there something to do, or is just opening eyes and seeing that that image is an image? It's not reality, it's not actuality. And if you look around the room, you see colors, sounds, sensations, your bum on a chair, and hands, face. It's all here, it's happening. But it's not happening to a person. The person comes up in the image, It's not the perceiver of life. It's not something with a free will and choice that can dance by its own tune. It's something just like Santa. Fiction, pure fiction. And seeing that, nothing changes. Everything goes on as it did. It's just that that image is no longer believed to be me. So how does this illusion get built? How do we get into this? Well, we get born into this. It's not like my choice or your choice to feel separate from the whole and feel like alone in this. We are born as little children and we don't know anything. All we know is colors and sounds. It's just raw experience. But then we learn to speak. We learn language. And the language says, okay, here's ILONA. She's a good girl if she does this. She's a bad girl if she does that. And so little, by learning the language, we learn that I am a separate being. I have to fight for my place in life. I have to deserve to be happy. I have to struggle and have to achieve and be better than everyone else and all that kind of stuff. We are born into this society which believes that we are all individual and separate from each other, from life itself. And this is part of life. And I don't know why that is, or I know that it is as it is, and it's nothing that I can change. But growing up, when we feel that something is not right, there must be more to life. All this suffering is actually helping us to find the right questions and see what is here that is making us suffer. And at the core is this belief in a separate self. But when you look now, here now, what are you separate from? What is separate from? Is there such a sensation that informs you about being separate? And for many people, it's the sensation behind the eyes. It says it's me sitting in the head, looking through the eyes in the world out there. And it feels like a tension. It feels like it makes decisions, and it feels like life is happening to that something there, like me. But if you look there, if you look at that sensation that you think it's me, is it separate from other sensations? It is a sensation, right? And is it a perceiver of life? Is it a controller of life? Or it's a sensation, like many others. Here this moment, not here next moment, here again and not here again. It's something impermanent. So the language gives us idea that there is somebody here doing life. Like I am sitting in a chair, I am moving, I am talking, I am smiling, I am breathing, I am observing life, I am living life. And it's always this I. But it is not the breather, it is not the sitter, and it is not what is talking. It's the language that says there must be subject doing action. But if you frame everything a little bit differently, like breathing is happening, smiling is happening, I'm hearing sounds, looking around, being happy. You can see that what is described does not change because the label I is taken away and you describe everything with the verbs alone. Nothing is changed. It is the same that is being described using different words. So this I comes up in the story about what is happening after the fact, as if it is the doer of what is happening, or as if it makes what is happening to be here. But if you look here now, right here, right now, what are you making happen? Are colors something that you're making happen? Are you doing sounds? Are you doing hearing? Or it's free flowing? I can say, I see colors. I can say, white, blue. It doesn't change the actuality of the experience. All it changes is the description. So I, me, the person, is part of the description. And there is so much more than just words about experience. There is this whole experience going on. But what happens is that our attention is so glued into that story, so fully on into that descriptions, that we live in the head. We live a life of an imagined person. But that imagined person is not there. What is here is the whole movement of the whole life. As this body, as this mind, as emotions, as colors, as sounds, as feelings. Everything is life happening. So language plays one of the main roles in sustaining this illusion. Just because we have these words, I, me, mine. And when I have I, there is a you and there are others. And so it appears as if we are separate individual beings having a relationship with each other, having judgments, what is right, what is wrong. And all that is in the mind, where the mind is judging and evaluating and comparing and competing, only because it believes that this I is real. This I is like a center of the experience until it sees otherwise, until it's actually brave enough to look, until it's ready to really recognize what is true. And once it's seen that there is no person in actuality, that it is imagined, then it can never be unseen. It is like a popping of a bubble. Well, and the bubble doesn't explode all at once. It takes time. So the more you look, the more you recognize that in your experience, the more this bubble, the hole in the bubble opens, and then the clearer it gets. So it really is not just one look and then bam, everything is wow. It can be, but it's rare. And the more you look, now, it's always available freshly in here and now. The more you look, the clearer it all becomes. And we have to have right questions, because wrong questions will send us into the mind trips, into the amusement park of stories. Like, for example, question why. Like, why is this illusion here? I can sit all day and think all the answers and think, this is why. And then tomorrow, no, maybe that's why. So the question why is asking for stories to be created, and then they are believed, and they are not the truth. So we can just completely drop this question why, and just look what. Ask the question what. What is here right now? And see, when you ask this question, something opens. There is listening. There is wanting to know. There is receptivity. I don't know what this is, so I'm open to find out. I am open to see. I am open to see freshly. So this question, what is here right now? Lets the mind to stop creating ideas, to stop creating the stories, and just be open. Be willing to know. See, when I know what this is, when I know what I am, when I know what life is, what world is, I am trapped in my own knowing. There is nothing new. I know everything. And for somebody that read hundreds of books with so much knowledge, it's really difficult to let it all go and to be honest with the fact that I don't know anything. Yes, I know other people's descriptions, but how do they know? Do they know? Well, they don't know either. I don't know. I don't know what life is. But that means being open. That means wonder. That means seeing the magic and meeting what is as it is, because I don't know. And if you ask this question, just really honestly, is there I? Is there I running the show? Is there me, like a general manager of the universe? Do you notice the silence? Do you think that this means no answer? Well, it is the answer. That stillness and silence just between the question and the first thought that comes, that gap, is the answer. So just to check again, ask it, is there a separate self? Do you feel it? Do you feel the answer? It's always here. The silence is always here, underneath all thoughts, underneath all ideas and concepts. It's always here in the present moment, here now. And in that silence, there are no more questions. There are no more answers. So it's okay to just be. And can you check? Do you need to be someone or something, like a person, in order to be? And can you see that being already is? It's nothing to do about it. It's not a question of not being. You can't stop being by accident or at will. This beingness is already here, always here. It's nothing new. It's just recognizing that beingness underneath all ideas, feelings, sensations. And seeing that nothing changes. Life goes on. Good experiences, bad experiences, everything keeps going on. So it's really okay to rest and let life live itself. And with seeing that separate self is an illusion, it's like piercing the bubble, and everything, all the old, everything that was built upon that illusion starts to crumble and fall away. There are so many things to explore, so many things to see, and life brings up people and situations right here, right now, that you can explore and see it from all the different angles. And there may be expectation that with seeing this, the suffering will end. But no. Intense emotions don't end. But it is seen that they don't belong to me. It is not me. They are here. They show up to be felt. They show up to be honored. They are free to come and go. I am not controlling any of it. So in a way, it's like stepping back and saying, okay, life, I see what's going on. Take me for the ride. I won't be having a fight with it. I'm not going to try to manipulate or control, because I see there is nobody here that can manipulate or control. So there is a point of surrender, which means the resistance ends, the fight ends, and you can be free to experience life as it is and feel all the deepest emotions, both wonderful and ugly. You're free to experience life and know about different experiences and how it feels like to lose a friend, or to have this immense joy when you are watching a sunrise. See, when our attention is totally on the mind and all these expectations and illusions, we miss life. And life is here, right now. There's so much more than thinking. There is perceiving, there is beauty. There is beauty in sadness. There is love. And yes, when it's seen, there is a desire to share it with others. Well, at least for me, it was a huge drive. I wanted everyone to see this. I wanted everyone to recognize this oneness with life. Life showing up as everything. And I'm so happy that I am able to serve in this way, that I am able to bring this knowing over and over again in all different forms, writing and making videos and writing a book. And it feels like this is so needed. This is so absolutely needed. But it's individual journey and nobody can force anybody else to look. So if you need some help with seeing through this grand illusion of the general manager of the universe, you can come to Liberation Unleashed. There is a forum. You can register and wait for a guide. Sometimes it takes longer for a guide. It happens like people have to wait even for a month, but with the old patients, it's okay. So when you go on Liberation Unleashed, you get to talk to somebody that they will ask you the right questions for you. And in your response, in what you share and what you write, there always will be something that prompts a next question. So you get to answer your own question. And what a guide does is like holding your hand, just saying, I'm here with you. I've been through the same. It's okay. It is safe. And look at that. And what do you see? And when seeing happens, there is so much gratitude. It's like you get another chance to live this life in a different way, seeing it freshly. And without this focusing on this separate self or the person that is not there, you can actually give more attention to what is actually here, what is. And becoming more settled into this, more relaxed into this, knowing that everything is taken care of. Life knows how to live itself. It's like I don't need to direct it. I don't need to tell life what I need. Then there is a joy of exploration, joy of being, simply being. There is no more need to strive, to try, to control, to become. Because in every moment, there is a chance to see this freshly. It's all already complete. It's all already completely free.
That was beautiful. Thank you. So we
Thank
have
you.
we have a couple of questions. So Sheen's just says, "Hi, Ilona, you are my guide on LU. The forum is truly a blessing and a gift." So just some gratitude there.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with the phrase "the dark night of the soul"?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So can you talk a little bit about your experience regarding the dark night of the soul and how to get out of it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is a time when everything is feeling so dark and heavy that it seems that there is no end to this, that you are on your knees, you are so depressed. In my experience, that happened after reading Jed McKennan's books. I got a real hit in the head when I realized that everything that I believe is not truth. Everything. And it was really painful. And at that time, I was just looking at different things like hope, for example, or what I am, and seeing that it's not truth. And I remember crying, I remember being so depressed and seeing everyone like suffering and not knowing how to get out. And it felt really meaningless, pointless, hopeless, desperate, like even wanting to die. And the worst part of it, it was that it felt like it's going to be here forever. It's never going to end. But that dark night of the soul is a needed part of the process. It's where you kind of see that everything, what I thought, what you think is truth is not truth. So where is the truth? It's kind of a punch in the belly saying, okay, either you look what is real or you are going to be in this hole for much longer. But the good thing is that the dark night of the soul is temporary. It is a very intense experience. It is a needed experience. So whatever is happening is actually okay. Even that intense depression is okay. It will pass. It is very good to remember that this too shall pass. It's not here to stay. And it is good if you can find somebody to talk about it, to share about it, just being heard. And if you have enough strength, write for yourself, write what you feel, just getting it all out of the mind onto the paper so that they may help. And also there is a lot of information about this dark night of the soul on the internet. You can look up and you can see that people went through that. Many people went through that. And they came out, and you will too. Actually, today I had somebody writing to me in distress, like, I don't want to live anymore, I don't know, I'm so depressed. And what you do, you just sit with that person. And if you don't have anyone around, it's you, that you need to sit with you. You need to allow all these feelings to be here. Just not fight it. Fighting it is no use. Just surrender. Give up. Give up and say, life, you know better. I trust you. So in this dark night of the soul, I would say that trust that it is temporary, and that it will end is very important. And my message for everyone out there going through this alone, you are not alone. This is a normal part of a journey. This is part of awakening. It is absolutely needed. So don't worry. It will pass and you will come out with a knowing what it's like. And you can build something new out of the ashes of the old life. It's like being a worm and then becoming a butterfly. It has to go through that transformation. And then that cocoon is really scary. Everything is melting. Everything is becoming a mush. You no longer know what you are, what is here, who to trust. But the process is taking its shape. And one day you are no longer a mush, you are this beautiful butterfly. So welcome the dark night of the soul and allow it to play out. It will end.
Thank you. So Pam asks, when stories are created and then believed, who believes the stories?
Okay. Who is another one of helpful questions in this inquiry? Who question is asking for the answer, which would say a name of a person. And nobody is believing. There is a belief. It's like having programs in your computer. There is Windows as an operating system. There are programs, let's say Word or Internet. And these programs are doing what they are doing. They are programmed to do so. So as little children, we get all these programs, all these beliefs that run unquestioned until they are questioned. So nobody believes them. They are just here. And you see life through these beliefs. Because the belief is like organizing principle of how we perceive a reality. So if you don't ask question who is believing, but what is a belief, you will get way much more informative and true answer. So yes, there is a belief. Something runs in. It's not mine. It's not me. I don't own it. It is here. So let's see, is it true? That's more important to know than who believes it. Is that belief true?
Very good, thank you. So Dijana asks, is it recognized there is no one and no things here, yet wrestling and struggling to go beyond, to drop is happening? How does one wrestle with a mirage? It's a conundrum.
Oh, okay, well, first of all, we don't need to wrestle with a mirage. You recognize mirage over and over and over again. Imagine you are in a desert. You keep walking, there is a mirage. You run there, you think it's an oasis. There's water there, there are palms. No. You go closer and you can see it's a mirage. Okay, so you keep walking and you see another mirage, and then you run towards it. And then you see again, oh, it's a mirage. So you don't really fight it. You just go and check, is it true? Is it a mirage or is it reality? And at some point, you no longer need to check if it's true. It's clear, it's a mirage. So there is nothing to fight. Like with that imagined melon, you don't need to fight with it. You don't need to fight with imagined person or imagined ego or imagined me to fight with it to win. There's nothing there. So it takes some looking, continuous looking, and the good thing, it's always here now. Just bringing attention to here now. There is nowhere else to look.
Great, thank you. I'll shorten the last one here, but I'll actually post it so everyone can read the full one. But what is your view on experiences? I'm sorry. What is your view on practices to deepen seeing and the role of someone helping another? And basically, what Stephen's asking is, he's saying that being that you helped him see that the separate self wasn't there, but then another speaker was like, you don't need a teacher. And I think this is a typical question that comes up in non-duality in certain flavors, like, you don't need anything, and others are like, you need a guide, or it's helpful or whatever. So I think that he's trying to get some clarity from your viewpoint of helping another, and I'll post it here so everyone can read the
okay. Well, Liberation Unleashed Forum is a confirmation that it can be helped. It happened to thousands of people, and it's really an individual thing. Well, you don't need a teacher or guide, because all you have is your experience. You don't need anyone to tell you how it is. Nobody knows how it is for you. But it's nice to have somebody there that you can talk to and they can hear you, and you can hear yourself. And that somebody can help you to focus so that you can answer your own questions. In that way, there is help. We are all here together and we are all influencing one another. So if you feel that you need help, you can get help. If you feel that it's enough for you to look for yourself, wonderful. Because once you see it, it's so clear. You don't need anyone to confirm that you see it. You see it yourself. It's just so obvious. It's even strange to think that you could think otherwise, that you are separate from life. So my answer is, it's an individual journey. Nobody can tell you, you need a guide, you don't need a guide, it can be helped, it cannot be helped. Like, forget what other people say. Feel your own truth, and that will set you free. Your own.
That's great. That's a great answer. And one of the things that I've noted, I saw online a while ago, was that you have Liberation Unleashed has other non-duality speakers and authors that I guess give you props for having aftercare afterwards, which I think is also helpful. It's that post-awakening support, because it's you don't just wake up and then everything's great. You go back into life. And so I noticed that someone was saying that they love that you have the aftercare. And like you said, it really is, it comes down to whatever you're being called towards. If you feel like you need help, it's there. And very appreciative of you talking with us today and for Liberation Unleashed. All of the information and getting in touch with you or visiting the site is in the profile. Is there anything else you want to tell us about before you go, upcoming or anything?
Okay. The last couple months, I am really enjoying creating YouTube videos and putting them on every Sunday. There is one coming on today. So I am just sharing all that I shared before in a different format. Maybe it's easier for people to listen to a video than read a book or go to the forum. And so, yeah, there's this going on. And yeah, if people need help, if you need help, there is Liberation Unleashed, which is completely free of charge. It's been going for 9 years, completely just out of heart, out of love for humans. So
Excellent.
the guides don't need anything from you. They're not asking from you. Just come.
Thank you. Ilona, thank you so much. Thank you for your questions, everyone. I'm going to close the webinar, and in about 15 minutes, we'll see everyone back here. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Noel. Such a pleasure. Thank you for organizing this.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.